Hey everyone, I'm just going to do, as quick as I can, a wrap application video. It's been about a year since the last one I did myself, beyond just our regular official application video. And I've kind of changed things up. I've learned a few different tricks of things, so I want to share that with you guys. Earlier today, I did a video on color cure removal, so I'm going to be posting that to the page as well as this video, and I'm going to try to keep these pinned to the top, so any new members or any members that need refreshers on color cure application, color cure removal, and wrap application, those are the three videos I'm going to do tonight. Miles is here. That way you know where to find them. So I've already prepped my nails, and that's the first thing I want to talk about when it comes to the importance of nail wrap application is good nail prep. You want to have your cuticles trimmed down. You want to have the right sizing, the right shape, and because you don't want to be doing that after you put on your wraps, you don't want to try to be shaping them. And you want to have the surface of your nail, like any oils, any lotions, all of that really cleaned off very well. So that's kind of my first thing that I always mention is your prep should take about as long as your wrap application. So that's kind of a way for you to measure, like, am I like cleaning them up enough, a little buff, you know, a little, we have our cuticle remover pen. It's a great product. I have that right here. You know, using the tools that we have for you guys too to clean up your nails as best as you can, because your clean nails are going to have the best adhesion to our wraps. These are the wraps I'm going to be applying in this video. I'm only going to be doing 3 nails on each hand with the wraps. This is Happily Humming. This was a monthly exclusive wrap last December or January. I think January. It's gorgeous. It's one of my favorites. I ordered probably 3 sheets of these when they came out because they're just so pretty. And I'm going to be doing just a mixed mani between wraps and color cure. So that way this video will be pretty quick, a pretty quick tutorial. But one thing I want to mention is sizing. Sizing is huge. You always want to size down where, you know, if you're holding the clear backing over and you're holding it over your nail and you're like, okay, that covers my whole nail. If any of it's over your skin, you're going to want to go down the next size. This one, I mean, there's even still some on the corners. It's really hard for you to see, I know. You know, you want to go a little bit smaller than fits your nail perfectly. The reason is because you want that wrap to be adhering completely just to your nail. If you have a size that's too large on your nail, it's going to be touching your skin, it's going to be touching your cuticle. That's going to be a problem. It's not going to last. And not only that, it's going to wrinkle, because if you think of something that's a larger surface area trying to fit on a smaller surface area, it has to kind of crunch itself in a little bit in order to fit there. That's why sizing is really important. You want to think about how if you size down, so you pick a wrap that's a slightly smaller size than you would normally think would fit your nail perfect, then you're thinking like it has to stretch to fill out that whole surface area. So it's going to be touching just your nail. That's going to be way better for your for a clean application, so where you won't get any wrinkles, bubbles, etc. And it's gonna go on better. So you're not going to have lifting and yeah, really just lifting. It's going to be a big difference. So I was going to say sizing is really important. Heat time. I do want to mention that. Heat time is important. We have now, I think, 8 different finishes, maybe 6 different finishes. You want to pay attention to what kind of finish your wrap is. And if you have any questions, that's what I'm here for. Please let me know. And I have a graphic about finishes and heat time, so I have to find that and I'll post it on the group. But this one is a glossy wrap. It's kind of our traditional gloss wrap, but we have wraps that go on the full spectrum between matte wraps and sparkle wraps. I really feel like those two are the ones that are on either side of our finishes. I'm so sorry, I'm so distracted by how frazzled I look. It's been a day. A matte wrap is very thin. It's super thin. It literally goes on like butter. It's some of my favorite wraps to apply. It needs like 2 seconds of heat, just like real quick, and then it's good. If you give it too much heat, it's going to curl in itself, and placing it on your nail and getting it on the right spot, placement is going to be really tricky, almost impossible. So little heat on a matte wrap, but on the other side of the spectrum, a wrap like a sparkle wrap, which is a thicker finish, you're gonna kind of want to heat the crap out of it. Like you're gonna really want to heat it till you see it kind of, you don't want it to curl, but you want it to bend a little bit. And then even once you put it on your nail, you're gonna want to give more heat. So basically what I'm saying is finishes matter when it comes to heat time. If you have questions about what finish you have, how much heat is ideal for it, just let me know. So I've got my tools with me for my wrap application: a rubber cuticle pusher, my nail scissors, nail clippers, and a nail file. So let's start off with my thumbs. Like I said, I'm going to be doing the rest of my mani actually on a live video tonight. And sorry, paying attention to my cutting here. I generally know what size my thumb is, and I actually even trim it down from there. So generally my thumb, I feel like, is pretty similar to other people's thumbs. The base of my nail bed is a little bit more squared than sort of the rounded cuticle and nail bed of my pointer. So when I cut, I select the size of my wrap, so it's normally the second one down from the largest one, and then I just cut it straight in half. Other people do it differently, but that's just how I do it. Then what I do is, for my thumb in particular, I trim off even more from the bottom. The purpose is to square off the bottom. And then I know, just because I've done it enough, that I'm going to be going in on the sides some more, because that particular size is too large just off the bat. I might have cut down too much. Oh no, that's just about right. And then I like to trim kind of a rounded edge on the bottom. Since I square it off, I don't want it to be too square. Then I'm taking my rubber cuticle pusher and I'm separating the wrap from the plastic. Just like that. Got my mini heater, $19. Literally, it's a game changer when you're looking at wrap applications. So any of my customers that don't already have one, it's going to change your wrap application easily. A hairdryer works. You just need a source of heat. But if you really want to optimize your manicure, you're going to want the heater. And it's $19. That's not too bad. So you see that the wrap started to bend and become a little bit more flexible. Let me turn my heat off for a minute. So I'm pushing it down, so I placed it square on my nail, and then I'm pushing that pressure, and then I'm just going to remove it. So you see how it's lifted still there. Going to give it some more heat. The idea is to kind of heat the entire surface area of the wrap. After I've done that, I'm pushing down just on the middle. You see how the sides are still lifted? I'm doing just down the middle, and then I'm going to give it some more heat, and then I'm going to push down on the side, just like that. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. I got a little wrinkle, so I'm just going to pick it up again and stretch. Sometimes you want to kind of imagine that when you're putting these wraps on your nails, you're sort of like saran wrapping your fingernail. You know, so you're stretching, you're pulling, and you're just bringing it over. So I've got extra on the very top, but one thing I've learned in the past at least year, if not, I mean, it was sooner than that, is that you really want to let your wrap cool before, and I'm just going to the other thumb, before you start filing it down. So that's what I'm doing, is I've just bent over the excess on this fingernail. I'm going to let the wrap cool a little bit, let it set as I'm working on the finger on the opposite hand. And then once I've finished applying the one on the opposite hand, I will go back and file it down. So again, with the thumb, I am simply sizing it down. I'm fairly familiar now with the sizing I need to do for my thumb. Separating it from the plastic, getting the heat on, watching it sort of bend, just become more flexible, as you see there. That's really still easy to maneuver. And then lining it up on my thumb, which I kind of want to pick up a little. That's why when I apply the wrap, I only put just the very bottom on it. And that's because if I need to pick it up and scooch it over or move it, it's not like I'm ripping up after just heating it and applying it. You know, it's a lot less issue, it's a lot less damage to your nail. Again, I'm pushing down just the center of the thumb, and then heating again, and then I'm pushing down on the sides. Let's see, yeah. Just pushing on the sides, okay? So that one's good, except I do have that excess that's laying over the side. I'm gonna let that cool. This one's already cooled. So now I'm taking my nail file, and at a 90 degree, I'm just filing down that excess. Let me kind of make sure my pressure's good there. I have a little bit of movement. And just cleaning it off. Now sometimes I'll have kind of a corner that's still sort of attached there, and it's really easy for me to just go in with scissors to trim that off and anything on the other side. And then I'm going to go back over, filing it down. And then, after you're done taking the excess off, which I'm going to trim this corner down a tad because it's a little hanging over. Then you can kind of, to get any other excess part, do sideways and do a little bit more on that side. So that is one thumb done. This wrap is still cooling, and so I'm going to go onto my pointer, which kind of forget which one I normally do. Yeah, I think I'm going to go like a little bit smaller than I normally do, just to follow my own advice, heed my own advice that sizing down is going to give you better wear and generally a better look. So I normally just eyeball it, cut it down the middle. If you have really long nails, you're going to want to be careful of that because you might end up with a wrap that's shorter than your actual nail. So if you have super long nails, you probably don't want to just cut it straight in half. You want to see what length is going to like work best for that particular nail. So now I apply my heat. I'm trying to make this kind of fast for you guys. And normally when I'm applying them now, I kind of go through it like this anyways. I've done enough manis that I can kind of be mindless about it to an extent. So just putting the pressure on the very bottom, the rest of it's still lifted, and then getting my heat. Now, sometimes what I do when I have enough excess like this, I just grab it at the top, the part that I know anyways I'm going to be trimming, and I just pull it. So that kind of allows me just one quick motion of saran wrap, and we're good. So see, I have natural nail there, I have natural nail there. I have a little bit more on this side than I normally do. But if I'm talking, like, you don't even see that, you know what I mean? And if you're a real perfectionist and like that extra space really bothers you, it's completely possible to get them to fit perfectly on your nail. It just takes a little bit more time, but I mean, if you want a perfect manicure, it's worth it. Since this is cooled, I'm going to go back over 90 degrees, file it right down, and I'm going to kind of use my scissors again, get at the corner, because sometimes that doesn't quite file off as easy as the really long parts. Get my excess over there, and keep trimming, or keep filing. Make sure I don't have any snags and stuff, and then perfect. Okay, I'm letting this wrap cool, getting the other half of the pointer finger one, separating it from the plastic. Like I said, it's a wrap color cure manicure that I'm doing. So for my fingers that have wraps, they're going to have the clear color cure coat over it, just to give it a little extra strength and durability. I like to have kind of a thickness to my nails, a little bit more than just the wraps give it themselves. Okay, and then same thing with this one. I've applied just the pressure at the very base of the nail. I'm going to give my heat, and then I'll pull the excess. See how much that kind of starts to curl after a good amount of exposure to the heat. Remember, these wraps are heat and pressure. So it's not just warming them up, it's pushing down. If you get random bubbles that are popping up before you seal it off, just give that pressure back, and it will it'll adhere, because that's what it's responsive to. So I'm going back to the pointer, and I'm doing that filing again. Now I have a little bit more length to my pointer fingers than my thumbs, so the filing is a little bit easier. I feel like the more length you have, it's a little easier to just file it right off. So we are just about done, folks. I'm going to cut down. I always use the smallest size for my pinky. That just seems to work well for me. And so again, I've kind of got my sizing down. So this, for example, I set these ones, I cut these like so not, I mean, I guess they're not too bad, but they're not like perfectly in half. So then I look at my nails and I compare and I'm like, which one needs like a little bit more length than the other one, since I wasn't exactly down the middle. And so I'm sure that, so that way I'm sure I have plenty of excess to maneuver, stretch and pull and bring down over. Okay, get my heat. And then I'll just leave that going as I place my wrap on. Once it gets to this time of night, my contacts kind of start to dry out a little bit. So it's not completely pulled down. Just put that initial pressure to place, and then now, again, I've got enough excess that I'm just pulling it down. Stretch and pull is kind of what it's called. So then I just tend to fold it under because then it's easier for me to continue working on the other hand. But that's how it'll fit. And then I'm going back to my pointer, that wrap which has cooled by now. And I also saw a trick, maybe it was on Pinterest, that they gave about if you're kind of applying your wraps in sort of a hurry and you can't necessarily let it cool for too long, to have like a bag of frozen peas or something that you just kind of like allow your wrap and nail to set on, so it'll cool off a little bit more too. Nail done. Perfect. Last I have in applying, and then I'll file off the rest, or the ones at least I haven't yet. This is my last pinky one. Give it some heat. Hope this is helpful. I hope there are things that I'm doing that you all are picking up on as maybe things you hadn't done or things you've been doing kind of differently. And give me some feedback too. Let me know if there's things that were like really helpful or things that you're like, it didn't really work for me. Giving some more heat, and then now pulling, stretching and pulling it down. Okay, gonna fold that just down on my skin again there, and go to my other pinky which has that excess there. And yeah, when I first did my application video, a while ago, I talked about how I didn't really file. I would only ever trim it with the nail clippers, which sometimes, like as you can see, I still utilize. But I don't know, it was like one day I just decided like, I should try the filing, and because that's like what our official instructions say, is to file it. And I hadn't honestly really ever done it because I couldn't really like, it just seemed kind of weird when I first tried it, and I was like, that can't be right, like I'm gonna pull the wrap or whatever. But ever since I started doing it, I'm like, that really is so much easier. I don't know why I didn't do that to begin with. Gonna give this like a few more minutes to cool. My heater cool off a little bit too. Go ahead and separate the excess and then clean it up. And there we have it, my friends. These two fingers will be getting a color to your manicure in less than 30 minutes. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope it was helpful. And I will be posting this to my page. And if there's any questions, comments, maybe I need to clean up here, feel free to comment below. Thanks, guys.